I. Italy's political and cultural history across the ages. From Rome to the Renaissance and Unification, Italy is the cradle of one of history's most illustrious civilizations. The Kingdom of Rome emerged in 753 BCE, then became a republic in 509 BCE. The Romans first unified the Italian peninsula through alliances among Italic peoples, then expanded to extend their power across Western Europe, North Africa, and the Near East. By 27 BCE, the Roman Empire had been founded. It ruled the Mediterranean basin for centuries, and helped shape the foundations of Western civilization in philosophy, the arts, and the sciences. After the fall of Rome in the 5th century CE, Italy fragmented into Germanic kingdoms and independent city-states. Ostrogoths, Byzantines, and Lombards ruled regions successively, and parts of the peninsula fell under the Holy Roman Empire. Throughout the medieval centuries, Italy remained divided among duchies, principalities, and thriving commercial city republics, such as Venice and Genoa, until a movement to unify the country began in the 19th century. Amid this rich past, the Italian Renaissance blossomed in the 14th century and spread across Europe. The Renaissance revived Greco-Roman heritage while elevating humanism, scientific inquiry, exploration, and the arts. In cities such as Florence and Rome, Italian artists and scholars created unprecedented works, making Italy the epicenter of cultural and scientific radiance at the dawn of the modern age. By the 19th century, the Risorgimento, the Italian unification movement, sought to merge the peninsula's many states into a single nation. The movement was led by figures including the Republican revolutionaries Giuseppe Mazzini and Giuseppe Garibaldi, and by the constitutional monarchist statesman Count Cavour, together with King Victor Emmanuel II of Piedmont, Sardinia. After a series of revolutions and wars, 1848-1861, Piedmont, Sardinia, under Cavour, and with Garibaldi's cooperation, unified most of the peninsula. The Kingdom of Italy was proclaimed in 1861 under Victor Emmanuel II, marking the achievement of modern Italian unity. Unification was completed with the annexation of Rome in 1870. Thereafter, Italy built modern institutions, industrialized, and, for a time, pursued colonies overseas. The South lagged economically, prompting large waves of emigration to the Americas. The 20th century brought upheaval and renewal. Italy took part in both world wars and experienced fascist rule under Benito Mussolini between them. After World War II, the monarchy was abolished in 1946, and Italy became a democratic republic. The 1950s and 1960s saw rapid reconstruction and an economic miracle, and Italy became a founding pillar of Europe's common institutions. Thus, across its long history, Italy moved from the heart of the Roman Empire, through the brilliance of the Renaissance, to a modern unified state playing an active role in international affairs. Second, Italian scientists, artists, and philosophers, enduring names and achievements. Giants of science and invention. Italy produced scholars and inventors who left indelible marks on science. In the Renaissance stands Galileo Galilei, 1564-1642, often called the father of modern science. He improved the telescope and used it to observe the heavens, discovering Jupiter's moons, Saturn's rings, sunspots, and solar rotation. By defending Copernican heliocentrism, he collided with ecclesiastical authority. Tried by the Inquisition in 1633, he spent his final years under house arrest. His observations and writings anchored empirical method and experimental reasoning. In physics, Alessandro Volta, 1745-1827, invented the electric battery in 1800, providing the first continuous source of electric current. The unit of electric potential, the volt, bears his name. Guglielmo Marconi, 1874-1937, pioneered wireless telegraphy at the end of the 19th century and is widely credited with the invention of radio. He shared the 1909 Nobel Prize in Physics for his work. Enrico Fermi, 1901-1954, the architect of the nuclear age, led in 1942 the creation of the first controlled nuclear reactor, Chicago Pile 1. Awarded the 1938 Nobel Prize for his research on artificial radioactivity, Fermi's work opened the door to the atomic era. Fermions in physics are named for him. Italian women helped blaze scientific trails. In the 18th century, Laura Bassi, 1711-1778, became the first woman in the world to hold a university chair in physics, University of Bologna. She earned a doctorate in philosophy and undertook early research on electricity and its medical applications. In the 20th century, Rita Levi Montalcini, 1909-2012, won the 1986 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for discovering nerve growth factor, NGF, revolutionizing neuroscience. Masters of Art and Creativity. Italy's contribution to the arts is global in scope. Leonardo da Vinci, 1452-1519, epitomized the universal man, uniting art and science. He created immortal paintings such as the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, and sketched advanced mechanical ideas centuries ahead of their time. Flying machines, armored vehicles, diving suits, alongside thousands of pages of notes in anatomy, botany, and mechanics, often written in mirror script. Michelangelo Buonarroti, 1475-1564, sculptor, painter, and architect, left masterpieces including the colossal David and the Sistine Chapel ceiling. Raphael, 1483-1520, perfected ideal beauty in works such as the School of Athens. In the 17th century, Caravaggio, 1571-1610, revolutionized painting with radical realism and dramatic chiaroscuro. Despite a tumultuous life, including a fatal brawl that forced him to flee Rome, his art shaped the Baroque across Europe. Artemisia Gentileschi, 1593-1656, a Baroque painter who defied the strictures of her age, produced powerful depictions of heroines, Judith slaying Holofernes among them, and became the first woman admitted to Florence's Academy of Arts, an early icon of women's struggle in the arts. Philosophers and thinkers, Niccolò Machiavelli, 1469-1527, often hailed as the father of modern political thought, authored The Prince, offering unsentimental counsel on acquiring and maintaining power. His name became synonymous with political cunning. Giordano Bruno, 1548-1600, advanced audacious cosmology, arguing that the stars are distant suns with their own worlds, and that the universe is infinite and centerless. Tried for heresy, he was executed in Rome in 1600, later revered as a martyr to free thought. In the 20th century, Antonio Gramsci, 1891-1937, writing in fascist prisons, elaborated the concept of cultural hegemony, profoundly influencing sociology and political theory. The roll call also includes Thomas Aquinas, Giuseppe Mazzini, Vilfredo Pareto, and many others, and many. 3. Italian cuisine, history, flavors, and global reach. An ancient lineage of simplicity and invention. Italian cuisine is renowned for pizza, pasta, and risotto, yet it is richer and more varied than many assume. Its roots extend to Roman times, when Rome absorbed culinary traditions from across a vast empire. Italians inherited a love of aromatic herbs, olives, and fermented fish sauces, such as garum. Through the Middle Ages, regional foodways persisted despite hardship. With the Renaissance and the commercial revival of Italian cities, cookery flourished in noble courts. The earliest printed Italian cookbooks appeared in the 15th century. Secrets of Simplicity and Mediterranean Staples. Italian cooking elevates fresh, simple ingredients to let each flavor shine. Staples vary regionally. In the cooler north, butter and rice predominate, as in risotto. In the south, olive oil and durum wheat, for myriad pastas, are foundational. Naples gave the world the margherita pizza of tomato, mozzarella, and basil, named for Queen Margherita in the 19th century. Genoa created pesto by pounding fresh basil with pine nuts, garlic, olive oil, and cheese. Proof that a handful of elements can yield depth. Seasonality is a credo. A caprese salad truly sings only with ripe summer tomatoes and fresh cheese. Regional diversity. Italy is a mosaic of cuisines. In Tuscany, peasant comfort foods like ribollita, a hearty bread and vegetable soup, prevail. Bologna, nicknamed La Grassa, the fat or sumptuous city, gave us ragu alla bolognese for tagliatelle and lasagna. In Sicily in the south, Mediterranean and Arab influences abound. Caponata, eggplant stew, and almond and pistachio sweets such as cannoli stuffed with ricotta. Even pasta shapes and sauces are regional. Rome's carbonara with eggs, cured pork, and cheese, versus Sicily's alla norma, with tomato, eggplant, and salted ricotta. Global spread and cultural influence. Italian migrants carried their foodways worldwide. By the 20th century, Italian cuisine had become one of the planet's most widespread. Pizzerias and pasta houses opened from New York to Buenos Aires, and today, Neapolitan pizza making is recognized by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage. Espresso culture traveled as well. Italian food thus functions as soft power. The mere mention of Italy conjures basil, tomato sauce, and Parmigiano Reggiano. Meanwhile, local cuisines across Latin America and elsewhere absorbed Italian techniques and ingredients. The philosophy of eating. Beyond recipes, food is a way of life. Sunday family lunches, harvest festivals, olive picking, and artisanal wine and cheesemaking are woven into Italian life. The slow food movement was born in Italy to champion local traditions and mindful pleasure against fast food. Protected designation of origin, DOP, safeguards products like Parmigiano Reggiano, ensuring authentic methods in their native regions. Italian cuisine, in short, marries simplicity with authenticity, rooted in place yet embraced worldwide. Cities and architecture. The famous and the hidden eternal Rome and imperial landmarks. Rome brims with monuments narrating ancient glory. At its heart stands the Colosseum, completed in 80 CE and seating around 50,000 spectators for combats and spectacles. It remains the largest standing ancient amphitheater, a symbol of Roman engineering prowess. Nearby lies the Roman Forum, once the political and commercial core of ancient Rome. The Pantheon, its unreinforced concrete dome open to the sky, has spanned nearly 2 millennia. In the modern city, the Baroque Trevi fountain casts its spell. Toss a coin, tradition says, and you will return. Florence, the cradle of the Renaissance. Florence showcases Renaissance genius. Santa Maria del Fiore's vast brick dome, designed by Brunelleschi in the 15th century, was an engineering marvel. The cathedral houses artworks by Michelangelo, Vasari, and others. Palazzo Vecchio and the Uffizi Gallery, home to Botticelli's Birth of Venus and Michelangelo's Doni Tondo, anchor Florence's cultural landscape. Over the Arno, the medieval Ponte Vecchio, lined with goldsmith shops, remains the city's iconic bridge. Venice, city of water and legends. Venice is literally built on water in the Adriatic Lagoon. Its streets are canals plied by gondolas. St. Mark's Square, with its Byzantine basilica and ducal palace, epitomizes the city's splendor. The Rialto Bridge spans the Grand Canal. Nearby islands specialize in glass, Murano, and lace, Burano. For centuries, Venice was a mercantile republic bridging east and west, its wealth reflected in Titian's and Tintoretto's canvases, and the city's distinctive architecture. Milan's grandeur and elegance. Milan is the beating heart of northern modernity and fashion, yet steeped in history. Its Gothic cathedral, the Duomo, Italy's largest, took 5 centuries to complete, and bears more than 3,400 marble statues. La Scala is perhaps the world's most celebrated opera house. The Sforza Castle recalls ducal power. Today, Milan's Via Monte Napoleone ranks among the world's most expensive shopping streets, lined with the flagships of haute couture and high jewelry, an icon of Italian style. Other marvels across the land. In Pisa, the famous Leaning Tower began tilting soon after construction started in 1173 due to weak alluvial soil beneath its foundation. Stabilization in the late 20th century preserved its iconic lean. In Naples, Castel dell'Ovo guards the bay, and nearby Pompeii, buried by Vesuvius in 79 CE, presents an entire Roman city frozen in time. Palermo in Sicily displays Norman Arab architecture that fuses Arabic ornament with Byzantine mosaics, as in the Martorana and Monreale. The Valley of the Temples in Agrigento preserves majestic Doric temples, such as the 5th century BCE Temple of Concordia. Off the beaten path are treasures such as Matera in Basilicata, famed for its Sassi cave dwellings carved into rock, continuously inhabited since prehistory, and Alberobello in Apulia, with its conical Trulli houses. Italy also boasts the world's largest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, from the Dolomites to the Amalfi Coast, and the great art cities. Every stone tells a story. The nation is an open-air museum where Roman grandeur, Renaissance harmony, Baroque splendor, and modern design mingle. V. The evolution of Italian fashion. From haute couture to shining streets, Italy's rise as a fashion capital. After World War II, Italy was not yet synonymous with haute couture, but that changed in the 1950s. In 1951, Giovanni Battista Giorgini organized a landmark Italian fashion show in Florence's Sala Bianca at the Pitti Palace for international buyers and press, heralding the birth of Italian fashion on the world stage. Hollywood's post-war La Dolce Vita era, often filmed in Italy, further boosted demand. From the 1980s onward, Milan emerged as a global center rivaling Paris and New York. Iconic houses, Gucci, founded 1921 in Florence, evolved from luxury leather goods into bold modern glamour. Prada, founded 1913 in Milan, reinvented itself under Miuccia Prada in the 1980s, with minimalist, innovative ready-to-wear. In Rome, Valentino, founded 1960, became synonymous with the red evening gown. The new wave of the 1970s, 1980s, Giorgio Armani's fluid tailoring, Gianni Versace's opulent prints and pop sensibility, Dolce & Gabbana's Sicilian-inspired sensuality, cemented Made in Italy as a byword for craftsmanship and style. Fendi transformed fur and leather under Karl Lagerfeld's creative direction. Fashion streets of luxury, Milan's Via Monte Napoleone, part of the city's Golden Quadrilateral, is often ranked the world's priciest shopping street, home to Armani, Ferragamo, Versace, Gucci, Prada, and more. Rome's Via Condotti by the Spanish Steps hosts storied maisons such as Bulgari, while Florence's Via Tornabuoni preserves centuries of elite retail. From haute couture to prêt-à-porter, early 20th century Italian fashion focused on bespoke alta moda. By the 1970s, designers turned to ready-to-wear, bringing refined design to wider audiences. Armani epitomized this shift by marrying practicality to elegance. Today, the sector contributes billions to the economy, balancing artisanal tradition, Neapolitan tailoring, Tuscan leather, with daring creativity. Italian fashion's identity lies in meticulous materials and detail, products that resist disposability and fast fashion churn. Phi. Italian cinema. From neorealism to Hollywood. Post-war realism and global impact. After World War II, Italian cinema was reborn through neorealism. Directors rejected studio artifices and filmed on location among the poor and working classes, often with non-professional actors. Roberto Rossellini's Rome, Open City, 1945, captured the resistance under Nazi occupation with raw power. Vittorio De Sica's Bicycle Thieves, 1948, told a simple yet profound story of a father's struggle to keep his job. These films influenced filmmakers worldwide, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, and others, by foregrounding social truth and human dignity. A mythic age, art cinema of the 1960s, Federico Fellini moved from realism to his own dreamlike universe. La Dolce Vita, 1960, dissected Rome's high society. 812, 1963, journeyed through an artist's imagination, and is counted among cinema's greatest works. Michelangelo Antonioni's trilogy, La Ventura, La Notte, L'Eclisse, explored modern alienation with meditative style, inspiring authors from Woody Allen to David Lynch. Italian stars, Marcello Mastroianni, Sophia Loren, Gina Lollobrigida, became international icons, the American West through Italian eyes. In the 1960s, Sergio Leone reinvented the Western with the spaghetti Western. His Dollars trilogy, A Fistful of Dollars, 1964, For a Few Dollars More, 1965, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, featured taciturn anti-heroes, tense pacing, and explosive violence, crowned by Ennio Morricone's unforgettable scores. These films revived the Western genre and influenced directors from Sam Peckinpah to Quentin Tarantino. Other colors of Italian cinema, Commedia all'Italiana, biting social comedies, by Mario Monicelli and Dino Risi, skewered post-war mores. In horror and thrillers, Dario Argento's Giallo films left a strong stylistic legacy. Composer Morricone later won honorary and competitive Oscars. Bernardo Bertolucci's The Last Emperor, 1987, garnered multiple Academy Awards. Italian cinema continues to thrive through the Venice Film Festival and a mix of art and popular works. 7th, the Italian Mafia, organized crime and the state's struggle roots in Sicily. The word mafia arose in 19th century Sicily to denote secret networks that enforced protection and settled scores amid weak state authority after annexation to unified Italy. Cosa Nostra, the thing of ours, grew embedded in Sicilian society, expanding into smuggling, extortion, and later drug trafficking and electoral manipulation. Italian emigration carried the model to the United States, where the Five Families in New York and other cities formed a parallel Italian-American mafia. Yet Sicily remained the spiritual homeland, with the cupola coordinating among bosses. Structure and code. The mafia's hierarchy is rigid, membership sealed by blood oaths and ritual. Its code of honor centers on omerta, the law of silence. No cooperation with authorities, no acknowledgement of the organization's existence, on pain of death. Alongside Cosa Nostra, other southern syndicates emerged. The Camorra around Naples, less centralized, notorious for street wars. The 'Ndrangheta in Calabria, now among Europe's most powerful drug trafficking networks. And the smaller Sacra Corona Unita in Apulia. All share secrecy, violence, and family-based structures. Open war in the 1980s-90s. Post-war Italy suffered deep mafia penetration, especially in the south. A turning point came in the 1980s when courageous magistrates in Palermo Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino built unprecedented cases. The testimony of Tommaso Buscetta, a high-ranking pentito, turncoat, shattered omerta, and enabled the Maxi trial, 1986-1987, which convicted hundreds of mafiosi with thousands of years in aggregate sentences and multiple life terms. Mafia bosses retaliated brutally under Salvatore Toto Riina. In 1992, bombs assassinated Falcone and Borsellino, shocking Italy. In 1993, terrorist bombings struck Rome, Milan, and Florence. Riina was captured in 1993 after 23 years in hiding. His successors were later arrested as well. State response and aftermath. Public outrage galvanized the state. Harsh prison regimes, such as the 41 bis article, isolated mafia leaders. Witness protection laws encouraged defections. Cosa Nostra's grip weakened markedly, though the 'Ndrangheta adapted by prioritizing transnational narcotics and money laundering, becoming richer, yet less visible. Cultural portrayals, from the Godfather to Gomorrah, spread globally. But Italians annually commemorate May 23rd to honor Falcone and renew commitment to the rule of law. The long struggle testifies that no one stands above the law. 8. The Italian economy and industrial elites, luxury automobiles as a lens. Overview. Italy possesses a diversified advanced economy, third largest in the Euro area, built on strong northern industry, robust agriculture and food, world-class tourism, and a globally influential design and fashion sector. Dynamic small and medium-sized firms form its backbone. Despite the north-south divide, Italy remains a key G7 player. Design and engineering. Italy excels at fusing elegant design with solid engineering, most visible in the automotive sector. Fiat, founded 1899 Turin, long dominated European car-making with popular models such as the Fiat 500. Yet Italy's brightest stars are its luxury and super sports marques, blending performance, craftsmanship, and style. Ferrari, the prancing horse. Founded by Enzo Ferrari in 1947 at Maranello, Ferrari grew from racing passion. Its black prancing horse on a yellow shield, adapted from a World War I Flying Aces emblem, became an international icon. Ferrari's scarlet cars hold records in Formula One constructors and drivers' championships, while road models, Testarossa, Enzo, LaFerrari, embody the transfer of racetrack innovation to the street. Lamborghini. The Farmer's Challenge. Ferruccio Lamborghini, a successful maker of farm tractors, grew frustrated with the clutches in his Ferraris. Reportedly the same units used in his tractors at a fraction of the cost. After a dismissive retort from Enzo Ferrari, "Stick to your tractors," Lamborghini founded Automobili Lamborghini in 1963 to build his own supercar. The mid-engine Miura, 1966, defined the modern supercar. Later icons include the scissor-doored Countach, the Diablo, and more recently, Aventador and Huracan. Though ownership later passed to Volkswagen Group, design and production remain in Italy with undiminished flair. Other crowns of luxury. Maserati, founded 1914, blends sporting pedigree with luxury saloons. Alfa Romeo pairs racing heritage with striking design. Pagani crafts ultra-limited hypercars in carbon titanium. Ducati leads in high-performance motorcycles. Northern Italy's Emilia-Romagna, Motor Valley, hosts museums and factories that celebrate this culture of speed and beauty. Across yachts, bicycles, Bianchi, Pinarello, furniture, Cartel, Flos, and lighting, Italian industrial design couples function with aesthetic refinement. Made in Italy, thus signifies trust on a handbag clasp or a V12 valve cover. 9. Italy and sport. The Azzurri and chapters of glory. National passion for football. Sport is integral to Italian life, and football reigns supreme. The national team, the Azzurri, is among the most successful in history, with 4 FIFA World Cup titles, 1934, 1938, 1982, 2006, and 2 European Championships, 1968, 2020. Traditionally, Italy exemplified tactical discipline and defensive mastery, the celebrated Catenaccio. Yet it also produced artists of attack Roberto Baggio, Alessandro Del Piero, Francesco Totti, and titans of defense and goalkeeping like Paolo Maldini and Gianluigi Buffon. Clubs and domestic competition. Serie A is one of the world's storied leagues. Juventus, Turin, holds the record for Scudetti. AC Milan and Inter Milan, the city's fabled rivals, follow closely. European nights burnished Italian prestige. AC Milan has won the European Cup, UEFA Champions League 7 times, second only to Real Madrid. Inter has 3 titles, Juventus 2, with several heartbreaking finals. The 1980s-1990s were a golden age that attracted global stars. Maradona's Napoli, Van Basten's Milan, Zidane's Juventus. Ultras culture, classic stadiums like San Siro and the Olimpico, and a passionate sports press give Italian football a unique atmosphere. Beyond football, Italy shines in Formula One, Ferrari's record, in cycling, the Giro d'Italia, legends like Fausto Coppi, in volleyball, elite leagues and national teams, and in the Olympic Games across fencing, swimming, and athletics. Rome hosted the 1960 Summer Olympics. Milan and Cortina d'Ampezzo will host the 2026 Winter Games. Italy's political and diplomatic role in Europe and the world. At the heart of the European project, Italy has been a founding motor of European integration. It joined the European Coal and Steel Community in 1951 and was one of the 6 signatories of the 1957 Treaties of Rome establishing the European Economic Community. A founding member of the European Union and the Euro area, Italy has hosted pivotal summits and contributed leaders such as Commission President Romano Prodi. It generally advocates deeper integration, while shouldering Mediterranean migration challenges and supporting common European defense initiatives. An Atlantic ally and international partner, Italy was among the 12 founding members of NATO in 1949 and remains a cornerstone of the alliance's southern flank, hosting key bases, Naples, Aviano, Sigonella. Italian forces served in Balkan peacekeeping, in Afghanistan, and in anti-piracy missions. In the United Nations, member since 1955, Italy is an active contributor to peacekeeping and a proponent of multilateralism and the international rule of law. A diplomacy of balance. Italy maintains Western alliances while cultivating economic and cultural ties around the Mediterranean and the Middle East. It has facilitated dialogue in regional crises and championed shared responsibility within the EU on issues such as migration. In EU internal debates, from Euro area governance to enlargement, Italy's voice often urges growth, solidarity, and pragmatic cooperation. From the Roman Empire to modern fashion, from Galileo to Ferrari, from mafia battles to global cinema, and from the Colosseum to pizza, Italy is at once open-air museum and laboratory of innovation. The country's story is a tapestry of art and science, industry and sport, diplomacy and daily life. These pages, however extensive, still touch only a fraction of the whole. Italy, the beautiful and multifaceted nation.